Hi, I'm here with Pamela, and we're in White River Township, and she lives on the northern half of the township, somewhat in the middle, east, and west. And I'm here to talk to her about, she's one of the homeowners that would be right on the 1,700-acre proposed array from National Grid Renewables and Lakeside Solar. We're going to just talk to her a little bit about her connection to the land. So, what is your connection to White River Township, and how long have you lived here?
Well, my family is basically from this area. I was born in Montague, Oceana County, but I've lived here on this land since 1999, and it was always my dream as a young woman. I had written an autobiography in college in Georgia that said I wanted to buy up as much Michigan farmland as I could and bring my family to live here. And I was living in Georgia, and I didn't know that I would ever end up here, but I did. For years, I would vacation here, come up from Georgia, and I would spend time with my cousins, and we always went to Minert Park Beach. So this is a big, it's a place of memories for me. When we bought here in '99, we looked at this house as a forever home that we would have our kids grow up in. Actually, 2 of my children have been born in this home, and I've raised 4 children here. They consider this their homestead, and we would like to have grandchildren come and play and know this area and go to the same beach. The beach is a big calling card, so.
And where is Minert Beach as in relation to your property here?
So if you go down about 1/8 of a mile maybe, and then in a mile straight west, you hit Minert Beach.
Okay, so Minert is the north boundary line of the proposed array.
Yes.
And then here are the fields around you. Can you explain what these fields are, approximately how big they are, if you know how big they are?
I know that this block is a mile, is a country mile block, but it's 1/3 of a mile, I believe, from east to west. So it is all, I believe, all owned by the same farmer, and would be 100% used for the solar plant.
And
you would not be happy with the view.
No, you would be completely surrounded, because this field goes all the way to Minert, and on the National Grid map that they supplied to the township and to the public shows this field, and then over here where that farm is, there's another major road, and the other side of that road is solar panels all the way until a row of trees before Lake Michigan, where there are a few private cottages. And then this is to the south. This entire field would be covered. And then crossing the road here, there's a road right there in front of that farm. Back there is also another field. I don't know the map well enough to say whether those trees will be removed, but there's a good chance, if there's another field with solar panels on the other side, that they will probably be removed. So this is the east view. This is the south view. This is all solar panels as far as you can see. Solar panels as far as you can see from the west, and then over the road there's another field at least as large as this, as wide as this, that will have it. And then there's Minert. Minert's the northern boundary. It's 3 miles. The array is would be 3 miles long all the way to Hancock, and it's 2 miles wide from the lake to almost to Lemus Road. So that's the boundaries. How would living here, being surrounded, this is your property line right here. Here are some of the trees, and then your home is right there. So I don't know what this amount is here, maybe.
We have 2 acres.
2 acres, okay.
We do.
So you have 2 acres.
Yep.
So here's your property line right here, and then the field starts right there. So it's actually very close to your house. How would it affect you?
Well, I just built a beautiful front porch, so we loved the views. I've gotten used to having somebody else's farm right across the road from me. But I would not enjoy sitting on my porch every morning like I do if I had to look at solar panels. I would miss the sounds of the birds that migrate here. We have sandhill cranes, wild turkeys. We have deer. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. They bounce out at us on the road, but we have so much wildlife here, and we have our own stock that we keep, and I do know that my husband and I would not want to live through not only looking at solar panels, but we would not want to live through the construction process. So,
which is estimated at 2 years.
So I think what's going to happen if it does go through, that the market will be glutted with houses in this area. This place will not only be decimated in land, it will be decimated in land owners, and our values will be shockingly low. And we have to go out of this area then and try to find something that's comparable. But as my husband said, no one is safe. No area is safe as long as this is allowed to continue to be perpetrated on the people. So I know that the farmers have a right to farm the land, but I do not believe solar is farming. So he hasn't lost any of his feathers. When we have females, they peck at his rear end. They peck at his feathers because he's kind of probably mean to them. Look at how green.
It's a meeting of the minds this morning.
They all travel
here
in
at the
packs.
farm. Oh my gosh, they're adorable. These are our little unexpected visitors in our interview. I love them. That's their little home.
Yes,
Okay, we're gonna move over to the north view and continue the interview.
Okay.
We moved to the north end of Pamela's lot, and just wanted to show how open it is here. And this is the north view, where the trees are in the far background is where Minert Road is. That's the boundary of the array, but it's not the boundary of the township. We still have a little bit of land north that goes just a little bit farther north. So there's a lot of people that live on this 1,700 acre array, and the challenge is that, and the problem, it's actually not a challenge, the problem with that is that to be able to get to 1,700 acres, they had to patchwork all these fragmented fields, these tiny fields, tiny in terms of most rural counties in Michigan, and get to 1,700 acres. So on each little patchwork are quite a few homesteads. And we have around 90 homes like Pamela's that would be adversely affected by this array. Mm-hmm. And some of them, many of them, would be 360 surrounded. And we can talk about one of those homes. If Pamela, you want to share the story about kind of your neighbors that are here.
Yeah. So we actually recently have had a pretty sizable turnover in this area. So we have new neighbors all around, and you can't see the houses, but there's probably 4 or 5 houses more down on the street, and then 3 or 4 houses over on Chase. So I know that Bob just recently moved here. He heard about this, went through all of the meetings about what we could do to put in an ordinance. He decided to cut his losses and sell before anything was decided on. But everyone who's bought recently, or anybody who's put huge additions on and really put a lot of their capital into the homes around here, they are regretting the move by our area to bring this into fruition and into our views. Everyone that has been on this side of the road, on our block, has signed either petitions or they've been at the meetings to keep the referendum in place, or to keep the ordinance in place. So definitely we are unified, other than the farmers. And the farmers own most of the land. So, but as my husband would say, they also get subsidies from the government. They get a lot of help for staying farming, and I'm not sure what we hope to gain out of changing the farming to something that is industrial. So I hope that with all of this being brought to light, that we can make people aware that farming needs to stay farming and industrial should stay right where it belongs.
And in light of the recent news that the state may take over the decisions of siting and placement of these large wind and energy utility scale arrays, how do you feel about that decision? How do you feel about your voice, our voices, being silenced or not even welcomed?
Well, I definitely see that we've put a tremendous amount of work into shoring up our ordinance and getting it back to a normal, what I would say is a feasible setback. And maybe it's not feasible for the size of the array, but it is definitely workable for our township. And then it's just brought out that we're not going to have any voice. That feels like a sucker punch to what we've been going through for the last year, which was already a surprise. You know, we were thrown into this right before Thanksgiving, and now it's almost a year that we've been fighting this, and then to be told that it's been in the plans all along to have this taken out from under us. One of the farmers told me a couple months ago, it doesn't matter what you do, it's gonna happen. And he said it with so much confidence that it surprised me, because I was like, I don't know where he's coming from on that. But he probably knew something that I didn't know. And that's the thing, they're connected in a way that the average person in this township is not. So I wouldn't like that. I feel like it's a deprivation of our freedom to dictate what comes in here and what stays out. So I don't know if dictate's the right word.
I think it is. I mean, we don't know a lot about it yet, but we know that the concept is wrong, and it's a lazy way out for the state to take. There are so many better ways to do this, and we need, as Lucy, the last homeowner that I interviewed, said, we need these green spaces and trees to combat the carbon footprint.
Right.
So it makes no sense to...
Green has always been good.
It has always been good, and it's starting to get very twisted. It's a very tangled web.
Yes.
But I appreciate you taking the time to share your story. I think it's important for people to hear the rural voices and the real people that will be affected by this. It's one thing to read an article with a name of somebody saying, this, and that, but it's very much more impactful to actually see the person's face and to listen to what they have to say. And this is our story. I live here also. I live in the southern part of the township. We will not have solar panels next to me. However, I live on the edge of DuPont, so all of the land, we have 1,300 acres by me that are untouchable, literally across the street from me. There are some houses that are on the edge of the DuPont land, but most of it in the middle, 1,300 acres, they're toxic and can't be used. So we've already paid a price here for believing big energy, that would be big pharma and their promises, and it's just very upsetting and difficult to even comprehend when you're driving down these roads and thinking, could this really truly be all solar panels? There's a very big possibility. It'll come. We fight as much as we can. It'll come down to court. It'll be decided in court somewhere, unfortunately. So I thank you for taking your time. Is there anything else you want to add, or are you?
I just keep praying
Happy.
about it.
Yes.
That's been my big solace, is going to God with it and hoping that He's bigger than all of this and He can fight for us.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.